Welding Coach Joe Brown, aka Black Phoenix, checking in. Today, I wanted to talk to you briefly, a little story time about my first welding job. And it's ironic what it was, fam. For those who don't know much about my background and how I got into welding, was from my mother. My mother introduced welding to me while I was in prison. I was actually 17 at the time on visitation, I believe, when she came down and told me about welding, asked me what did I think of welding. And at that particular time, fam, I didn't know anything about welding, but she had seen some commercials. Ironically, it was a Tulsa welding school commercial that she was talking to me about. And later she sent me some information from a library. It was probably 5, 6 pieces of paper front and back on the history of welding. And I can be honest with you, at that time, 97, 96, 97, that was when I became a welder at heart. I studied those papers. Those papers became my Bible. And it wasn't until 2024 when I was able to enter the welding program at Verna unit. I took a 1440 hours in combination of welding. It was stick, TIG, and MIG in 4 positions. And then it was also some cutting, torching, learning how to use some basic ironworking equipment. And then we was doing some fabrication. And then I actually had the opportunity to learn pipe welding, how to do the 60-10 root pass, 70-18 filler and cap, how to cut it, how to bevel it. My welding instructor was actually a master pipe welder, so he was more geared behind learning how to do pipe welding and fabrication, and we was building trailers. I don't know if he had a system going with some buddies, but we was building trailers, some nice ones, like some independent trailers for some people, and they were some cool 2 axle or single axle trailers that we was building. And it was some good practice time. I did about 14 months in this program, and my first welding job, fam, ironically, I got shipped to the Newport unit, and I got put on maintenance. And at this time, they had the the state had took over the prisons in Newport. Newport at first used to be a private unit. It was McPherson and Grimes unit, and they was privately owned by Wackenhut. And then the state took over the units. And you know how when the state take over a unit, they're gonna make some changes, do some things. And one of the changes that they was doing at the male and female unit was they was cutting out the metal racks that we had, and we used to have plastic and wooden lockers boxes that you slide under your rack or your bunk, and they was replacing them with some metal thing boxes that actually sat into your rack, where you cut out a hole, you drop it at the end, and you're able to pull up your bed at the rear, put your food in it, close your bed, and lock it. And it gave them a few different reasons from doing that, because people was fighting, using them for weapons. It was, space and storage reasons, safety reasons, and also people was using the lock in the sock. They had salute, salute. Most definitely, fam. I was raised in Denver. I was raised in Montbello, so shout out to Denver. Shout out to Denver. I'm always representing. And so they had people was fighting and using the locks in the sock. If you ever heard of that term, it was a lot of that going on. So they welded the lockers, the lock itself, to the racks, where when you got to unlock it with a code, you open it, lock it. That way you don't have a key no more. So they took the key system, and so they was just changing the system. So I had an opportunity to weld those boxes in at the male unit and at the female unit. Now we started at the male unit, getting all of them in, and then once we, got them in there, we went to the female unit. But both encounters on both jobs was ironically that, you meet people everywhere you go, even in prison, fam. And I was the only black welder there. Just like a lot of times I'm only the only black welder. A lot of times where I go, I had been to places like Georgia and seen different. I was on a job in Phoenix one time and there was another black welder. But it's ironically that I'm all, on one. Salute, salute, thanks for checking in, where there's just a lot of black welders. Normally I'm singled out, or it's one or two. And at this particular time I'm the only one. And there was a lot of good old boys, in Arkansas. And we're in Arkansas prison at this time. I had been in prison for a while. So this is 2004. I went to prison and I got locked up in 96. So you see how long it was I had been in prison. So I knew the ropes and, understood what was going on. But one thing I can say about trades, people really respect trades. So once they see you know what you're doing, 9 times out of 10, you'll have it a little easier. So, we was going to the mail units and I was, cutting out the metal with the cutting torches, welding them in, pushing the welding around. And I remember I met a couple individuals on the mail side who I actually did some networking with, and we made some money on the legal side free. And they, I never forget, they was like, man, you a welder? They thought I was just a helper, pulling the welder around. Then they seen me using the cutting torch and welding, and we got to talking. They telling me about the businesses and things they was doing on the free world, you know what I mean? And it was just ironic the people that you meet and how you bump up, into different people. But I was in prison when I actually got a chance to exercise my skill. And that was my first job, fam, 2004, welding metal locking boxes in. Ironically, you know what I mean? And I think about it now, how time flies. um, when I went over to the female unit, you know, man, I'm gonna be real with you. And just as I tell you the story, um, I was going over there, and a lot of them was shocked to see me over there. It was a couple males, but it was me. I was the only black male, and then it was a male officer, and we was going around to each cell block to put these in. So the stuff I seen, fam, was so crazy. And I remember one story I want to share. We was over there, and we was putting in. I think we was in the. I want to say we was in the cell. Yeah, we was in the cell part. So the cells, they got doors on them in the female unit. They had doors, and they had like the guard tower was like in a corner at the top, and it can like see all the cells from the top in the angle. Like in the corner, you can see all the cells in the angle. And we up there, we going in and putting in these racks. In this particular one, we doing tables too. So we putting the stainless steel um, tables in, where they eat at, where you dine in the inside. And some of the ones they had ordered was way too high. So we had to cut some of the bases, cut some of the centers out, shorten them up a little bit. And that was one of the jobs we did. But I remember going over there, and I remember thinking, some people say, man, you in the female unit, you going to see all these gorgeous women that's incarcerated, fam. And it was ironic. Man, fam, probably, I'm going to say 95% of the women over there that I seen in prison, that me personally, was not something that you would be like, oh, I can't, probably 5%, maybe less than that. You'd be like, what in the world you do to get here? You know what I mean? But majority of them, in my personal opinion, I was like, boy, it was some rough ones over there. But it was ironically, how it was set up, and it was different. It was most definitely different than the male unit. But for me to be in the male unit, working in the female unit, it was just crazy. And I did it for a few months doing that. And I got a chance to just meet some cool people. And I remember some women, it was a couple older women that when I was going to that barracks, doing every time I go there, I have a little soda or a couple of cakes or something, lined out for us. Hey, we just looking out for y'all while y'all coming here doing y'all work. You know what I mean? So it was cool, fam. It was a cool experience, even though I was locked up. So I like to tell people sometimes you can be in a messed up situation, fam. You can be in something that people would literally say this is hell, you know, and you can have some memorable moments. At this particular time, I'm incarcerated, and I was learning and I was experiencing things that I think of to this day. And ironically, this is something that my mother introduced me to that I'm still doing to this day. And now I can particularly say on paper, I got over 20 years experience, in something that was introduced to me on visitation, that my mom wanted to give me something to change my direction. She didn't want me to go down the same direction. So she was like, what can I give them? And she heard them say that welders can make $100 an hour. That's what stole her attention, fam, and mine too. When she told me, I said, huh, $100? You know what I mean? I'm all over the money. You know what I mean? So I wanted to get out and get that. But to be honest with you now, I got to be honest, fam. They say tell the truth, raise your hand, tell the truth. My first job, when I got free, I was making $8 an hour. 2006, fam, I got free March the 8th of 2006 is when I was released from prison. I did 10 years. I got out. My first welding job, I was doing aluminum, stainless, MIG, spool gun, and TIG welding. Nah, just spool gun. Yeah, it was just spool gun and TIG welding. Stainless and aluminum. Started out at $8 an hour, fam. I remember joking with my mom, saying, Mom, I thought you said we was gonna be making $100 an hour. She was like, oh, baby, just take your time. You gonna get there. And fam, I stayed at $8 an hour for probably 2 to 3 weeks, and I went from 8 to 10. I remember them calling me in the office and saying, Joe, we're gonna give you a raise. The foreman on the floor talking good about you, we want to give you a raise. And I remember they gave me from 8 to 10 in about 2 to 3 weeks after I got out. So it was most definitely worth it. But from that job, I learned so much, and I went up and up, from that first encounter. But sometimes your first encounters don't be as grand as others. Sometimes this generation, I have seen people get out, they making better money, 17, 20, 22, 25, 28, starting out. You know what I'm saying? Fresh out of school. And I didn't see that type of money. I seen it later, but not, from the gate, So, I just wanted to share that story because I was thinking about it earlier and how ironic it was, the tips I learned from them guys, who I call the good old boys, because the guys that gave me some game on welding, no lie, they was Aryan Brotherhood, and they was cool with me. They was, one thing you learn about different organizations and different gangs and different cliques when you in prison. A lot of times people just want to have their own thing going on. They ain't got no problem with you going on. Just let them do their thing. And a lot of them, like I say, a couple of them gave me a couple good tips, because the two dudes that was, welding there, they was Aryan Brotherhood, and one of them had some rank. The one that was the head welder, and he was, he seen the way I was welding and how cool I was. Dude, like, man, dude, cool. That dude, let him weld. You know what I mean? Y'all leave him alone. You know what I mean? Because they was trying to give me a hard time, is not wanting me to do it or want me to do, small petty stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's the system, And then I was just getting there, so I couldn't step on nobody's toes, So, it was just outrunning the things I learned. So I got to give love to what love is due. So, even though everybody was doing their own thing, I still learned a lot, and it was still a mutual understanding from trade. That's all I'm saying. You got people that might be biased on one end, but they respect the trade. And when they see you hungry and you want to learn, it's, hey, teacher, man, let them eat. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool, fam. I learned a lot. And I just want to say that, I don't wish going to prison or experiencing this type of hard time for anyone. Um, I wish I didn't have to experience it, fam, but I did. You know what I mean? And going through that process makes me humble now to see where I'm at because I made it so far. And I have a lot of friends, a lot of associates who didn't make it, and most definitely didn't make it to where I'm at now. So, I have to be humble and just say, learn from every situation. Be humble, pay attention to detail. If you want to get ahead fast, and this is any, young person, anybody, if you see someone doing something and you can tell they need assistance, you watching them, don't have them ask you for assistance. Just step in and assist them. If you do that, that's going to get you so far, especially in the trades. You see the head welder, the head fabricator doing something, he might need a hand. Just go help him. You'd be surprised what you might learn and how more open they might be with dropping some jewels on you. You know what I'm saying? Something you can use to feed your family for decades. You know what I mean? So, I just think that we shouldn't belittle no situation you go through. Salute, salute. Thanks for the love. Thanks for hitting that like button, fam. I appreciate it. No, no, I'm not from Kansas City, but I did live in Kansas City for a while. Shout out to Kansas City, fam. I got a lot of big homies in Kansas City. Shout out to MR3 Studios, Mid Range Studios in Kansas City. Shout out to them, man. That's my family down there. Shout out to 7 Foot, my homeboy Eric. Shout out to Eric, man, the producer, the engineer, Gold Fingers himself. Shout out to him, man. That's my family in Kansas City. But no, I'm not from there. But I enjoyed my time in Kansas City. I most definitely did. I had a good time. Met some good people, fam. Created some good music. My last records, for those who don't know, I do hip hop too. So one of my visions and dreams was after I got out and made a little money, I wanted to record some of the records that I've written and some of the ideas that I had. So, I did a couple underground. And to me, when I went to Kansas City and recorded is when I, made it big, so to speak. I got some real nice professional recordings. You know what I mean? So if you go listen to my song, Black Phoenix, Feniks, that's my artist name. That's Feniks. Listen to Frank Lucas, listen to Deep Sea Diving, How Did I Make It Home, Rage Rough, Screaming. All those songs was produced in Kansas City by Eric himself, by Mid Range Studios, and classic records. Salute, salute, man. I appreciate it, fam. And y'all let me know, fam. I really want to start doing this story time once a week on a Saturday. Today is around, I think it's around 12 something. Um, Probably around this time. It depends, but I really do want to do it. And I want to do it because I want to kind of share some of the things I went through, and then also answer some questions, some Q&A, and just have some dialogue. Just talk to you. It's an opportunity for me to get a person more into where I come from and tell some of the stories. Some things are hilarious, fam, that I went through, especially in prison. Like I say, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but I couldn't sit here with a straight face and not tell you that even though I was incarcerated for 10 years, a decade, all of my times wasn't bad. Like I really learned and I grew a lot in there. It was in prison where I literally learned how to read. I was reading, but I didn't know how to read. I learned how to read in prison. I got my GED in prison. I went to Votech and learned how to weld in prison. I went to college, went to the trade. I went to college in prison for small business. I went to anger management, thinking area, parenting. You name every program that I could do, I did it in prison. And so when I got out, it gave me more of a more an advantage. You know what I mean? Because I had a career instead of a regular job, and I went up fast. I went up real fast. And a lot of my friends and family, um, a lot of them said, "Man, Joe, it seems like you got out and like you never left. Like you got out and you done jumped in and you took ahead of some people that's been out here for a while." And I can't say that was my intentions, but I most definitely didn't want to get institutionalized, and get stuck and keep that revolving door open. So I educated myself in there. So now the things that I'm doing, educating, building, designing furniture, engineering things, coming up with ideas from clothing. For those who like my clothing, you can check it out on Amazon Prime. Just go there to Amazon Prime and put in Hog on Welding hoodies, t-shirts. All of my stuff should pop up. Hit that top button and it should say like the brand. So it'll show you all the clothing and all the things I got available. So I've been busy. But actions speak louder than words, fam. Actions speak louder than words. A lot of times when you meet someone, you don't know their full story. You don't know what they went through, and you just tend to say, "Oh, um, you judge them based on their the cover of the book, so to speak." You got to read some pages. You got to listen. I told someone the other day, I said, "Listen and don't just hear the conversation." We have to listen and don't just hear the conversation, fam. There's a lot of things going on around us, and you'll miss out on some things thinking you know everything. I was on my other channel. The Richards Welder is another channel, YouTube channel I created, and I created the Richards Welder channel to give some entrepreneur tips to keep people with ideas as what they can do with welders. It's not to say that I'm just rich and balling with Lamborghinis and all that, but what you can do to make yourself financially stable with welding will blow your mind. And a lot of times we think that we have to be physically involved with everything, but you don't. Being an entrepreneur, you have to learn you have to learn how to position teams together. And you put teams together that know how to do these particular things, and then there you go, there go a business. And then you go form up another team to do something different, you know, all based on, in my personal opinion, since I'm using welding, the welding money, the welding trade, investing in something, So that's why I say this channel was just not going to be just about welding. I wanted it to be about finances, investing, education, in my journey, so you can know that no matter really where you started, as long as you get started and you physically able, you can do anything, fam. Um, there's no limitations. You know what I mean? I have taught people right now from 12 to 60, out of well. So, and everybody is using it to do different things. So, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself when it comes to welding, the fabrication, to um, what you can do with it, you know. And today with technology, we got to get familiar with AI. Fam, let me say that real quick. We got to get familiar with AI. I was reading a blog that was talking about AI being the newest thing, the next best thing since electricity. Like, we got to start using it somehow to get familiar with how it can benefit what you already do. So whatever it is that you're doing, um, you can multiply it, you can magnify it, you can, make it more potent by learning how to use some of these tools. Even when you're fabricating, you can come up with different programs, different designs to help your artwork, to help your furniture, to help your product, your structural building, your equipment, whatever it is that you're making. Invest in AI, fam, if I can tell you anything. So if y'all, enjoy the talk, fam, if you enjoy story time, let me know. I'm gonna leave this video up. Most definitely say the comments. Let me go on and do that now. So, we can be able to have these talks, you know what I mean, and just, um, be real and be realistic. And I like to shine light on the things that I went through personally, using myself as a personal example, just because of the things I've been through. I'm under the weather a little bit, fam, so y'all forgive me, but I'm all right. I can still talk, you know what I mean? It's just this weather has been crazy, you know what I mean? But I want to say, man, I've been working on some cool products. Been working on a grill, so it's been cool. Like, I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes you don't realize the things and how valuable they really are until you start using them all the time and you start listening to people. And let me say this too: you can have something special and you can talk yourself out of it. Listen to people. You know, criticism is good or bad. If they critiquing you, just listen. And a lot of times people can tell you what your strong points are and what you should do, and how you can have something of value. We all got something. And sometimes we'll say, man, I ain't got nothing. I can't do nothing. And somebody else looking at you like, dang, I wish I had that right there. You know what I'm saying? And you like, man, I ain't even got nothing. And they looking at you like, man, I wish I got what he got. And but you saying to yourself, you ain't got nothing. Come on, fam. You know what I mean? Listen to people, fam. Don't get talked out of a blessing. The opportunity that I have right now, I'm networking with Carbon Design. Y'all should check out the website too, carbondesigns.com. That's Carbon Designs. Check out some of the cool furniture, fire pits, planters, desks, tables, coffee tables, um, some real neat stuff, shelves. And I almost talked myself out of this opportunity because I almost went on the road because it was way more financially. You know how sometimes we think of the money. It is what it is. Sometimes we think of the money, especially when we feel like we're in financial strains or binds. We're like, oh, we might make a decision based on the money. Don't get caught up with that, fam. You get the money. I'm not knocking you, but sometimes a couple dollars is not gonna break the bank, and you can make that up by doing something you enjoy doing. You know what I mean? That you don't mind getting up, going to, and it ain't no like burden. You feel like somebody beating on you every day. You know what I'm saying? And because you decided to make this certain amount of money. You know what I mean? So I would just say, being a welder, fam, being a fabricator is very rewarding in a lot of ways. Mentally, therapy, working things out, because a lot of times when you fabricating and you building things, you're not focusing on the problems at home, things you're dealing with. You have to build this thing. You have to figure out how to assemble it, how to stay safe. So your mind normally is on what you're working on if you're doing it right. You know what I mean? So, and then once you critique that, the process of knowing how to duplicate something, how to not just do that one thing, you can take something else that's completely different and repeat the process. So, I think welding is rewarding in a lot of ways, um, from being able to teach it, from products, equipment, selling merchandise, just the basic things that people need all the time. The creating of fabrication of building things, like it's endless. It's endless. And I had an opportunity while having lunch breakfast this morning, and I met a lady that was sitting beside me at the bar, and we was eating breakfast, and um, something was said that really caught my attention, and she was saying on how she was a millennial and how she wished her and her husband was, and how, you know, they wish they would have learned a trade of some kind, you know, and seeing the money and seeing how valuable it is. Like, man, I wish I knew this. Not saying what they know isn't valuable, but saying how they realize trades are valuable, some type of trade, you know. So I just want to say, you know, don't belittle the trades. Don't belittle them just because you might get dirty or someone said you might be a gearhead, grease monkey, or whatever they want to call you. Do what makes you feel good. Salute, salute. I appreciate it, fam. That's all I just want to do, fam. Drop some jewels, get some advice. Appreciate everybody for taking some time out your life, fam, to stop through. Hit that like button, that share button. I appreciate those who share the videos. Make them more aware. I do want to hit that 100K this year. Got a long way to go, but I think we can do it. I think we can get it. There's a lot of people out there, fam, that who don't know in the world. And I know my channel is public, nationwide, worldwide. So, you know, I know there's 100,000 people who can tune into the conversation with the coach. I know it is, fam. So, you know, our goal is want to be, you know, stay live, keep some updates, and listen to the people. You know, y'all let me know, you know, um, some of the things you would like to see, especially when I'm fabricating. You know, a lot of people enjoy watching me build the project, putting them together, just the raw form of it, instead of just showing when you're done. You know, I used to say that when I created my first channel on YouTube. For those who don't know, my first channel on YouTube is called Hog on Welding, HOGON Welding, and I created that channel to show my journey, like my journey period with welding, where I was going, what I was doing, what I was thinking. I just everything. It was all over the place, and I got some good videos on there. But I learned things about blogging too based on that channel, and I'm glad I did that because that channel allowed me to have. I think I have over 5,000 videos on that channel, learning how to shoot videos, learning how to talk, learning how to, you know, record. And it showed an archive of how I got to a certain level. So once I get to certain stages, and even where I'm at now, you can go back to that channel and you can see how I got here. You know, you can see how much I didn't change. You can see like life happens is real. Like, and a lot of times people that we look up to, different celebrities, different actors or whatnot, we see, we hear or see the beginning and the end. Man, they from there. Now they here. You know, I'm blessed. I got the opportunity to share my journey, and even once I'm gone, my journey is here from different states, from welding, putting up different things, going through different things. You know what I mean? Uh, all of it was worth it. All of it was worth it, fam. So I appreciate the journey. You know, I used to complain while I was going through it, you know, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, you know, what I'm doing now, I don't even think I'd be able to do it if it wasn't for me going through those things, knowing how to stick to the course, stay focused, you know, knowing how to critique my approach, you know. So, hey, fam, I think that for those who checking in, you know, there's a lot of jewels you can gain from sitting down, holding a conversation with me. or watching me in the midst of what I'm doing. So, I want to make sure that you gain something, from being in my presence. I told someone the other day, we all have to get to this stage in life where we know who we are without a shadow of a doubt. Not what someone tells you, you know you. And fam, one thing I can tell you about me, and I can be honest here and I can look at you and tell you this. I know I was blessed to be prosperous in things that I do, what I put my hands on, because as I look through life, no matter from prison to kids, not having none, I always was prosperous as what I attempt to do. Number two, I always been a giver, fam. I'm a giver. I don't mind sharing nothing I have. I don't mind taking mine off helping. And it has cost me, you know how giving does. So I have to be cautious now on who I'm around and who I give to. And the third thing I know about me is if I allow a person in my presence, they're going to benefit from being around me. It's inevitable. Like, you're going to benefit. You're going to benefit. You're going to be better. And not saying that, oh, I'm bragging. Nah, you're going to get some information. You're going to probably get something. Just being around me, you're going to be better. Like, I have made people better than worse. You can be honest, some people get around people and when they leave, they drain. You don't want to come back around that person. Me personally, you enjoy want to be around me. If you truly get the opportunity to be around me. You know what I mean? So for those I work with, relationships, friends, colleagues, normally I have a great bond once I have a bond. And I know who I am. So I have to be cautious on who I extend my hand to. And you have to do that too. And you most definitely need to know who you are. So today, I was just thinking about the conversation at the bar, at the breakfast bar, and my first welding job and what I'm doing right now as a metal fabricator, a welding engineer, a educator, a certified welding educator. The things I'm doing now, man, I wish my mom could see, when she introduced me, 17. Now I'm 44, about to be 45 in March. And it's just unreal to me, and I know the future is so bright, fam. And it's just amazing what you can do if you keep the course. Consistency. So before I leave and let y'all go, I'm going to say this. Consistency is key. Stay consistent. The rest going to come together, fam. You just got to stay consistent. Stay consistent. Consistency is key. So once again, like I say, for those who like it, let me know, leave a comment. Let me know if you want us to do this type of thing once a week and just have some story time to reflect on some things throughout the year and see where we go with it, see how it go, people say, man, I don't want to make New Year's resolutions, but I think this can be something we could do. Salute, salute. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate the love and support, fam. I appreciate it. Like I say, my goal is to bring more. So if you have any ideas, any questions, anything you might think I should add, please let me know, fam. Please let me know. So be blessed. Continues to prosper, fam. I'm out of here. All gone.